Welcome back to Brisbane, the Eden Hills Hotel, and I've got to say that the Comeski family who are up the back in the owner's box, I want to say thank you to them. The Eden Hills Hotel is a spectacular venue, lots of great stuff and a great family who support this region and provide this venue to us. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause for all their help. They're very good, that family. Do appreciate it. Mention my name, pay full price. All right, we're here with Peter Dutton, of course, the Leader of the Opposition, the member for Dixon, which is this part of Brisbane. And we've got one last question from the audience, so no pressure. Hello, Virginia, isn't it? Hello, darling.
Good evening, Paul, and good evening, future Prime Minister Dutton. Having watched your budget reply speech, my question's probably been preempted, but what will the Coalition do to tackle the woke agendas that are being pushed through our education systems?
Well, the Commonwealth Government doesn't own or run a school, and which is why people ask, well, why have we got a department of thousands and thousands of people in Canberra called the Education Department if we don't have a school and don't employ a teacher. But we do provide funding to the state governments, and we can condition that funding. And we should be saying to states, and we should be saying to those that are receiving that funding, that we want our kids to be taught the curriculum, and we want our kids to be taught what it is they're needed to take on as they face the challenges of the world, and not to be guided into some sort of an agenda that's come out of universities. And I think there's a lot of work to do, but that's the way in which the government can try and influence the New South Wales government or the Queensland government or the Victorian government, whatever it might be. And I think that's, again, a debate that we need to hear more from parents on. I think there is a silent majority on this issue right across the community. And when the government, at the start of this term of Parliament, tried to stop independent schools and religious schools from deciding on who they could employ or what they were going to teach at their school, I think there was an uprising then, not just from the religious leaders, but from parents as well, who pushed back on that. And I think that was something that the government dropped fairly quickly thereafter because they knew they were going down the wrong path. But again, I think it's a big difference between the two parties.
My final question is my favourite one I ask at every pub test. Lots of different candidates, lots of different places, state, federal politics. What's the biggest lie that the other mob are saying about you?
Where do you start? Where do you start?
You can shout them out if you'd like. It's like Wheel of Fortune, higher, lower.
I have a great deal of faith in the Australian people, and I do think that as a country we have so much to achieve together. The Labor Party has failed our country over the last 3 years. If the outcomes had been there for families, if businesses were prospering, if our country was at its best that it could be, the Prime Minister and Chris Bowen and Tanya Plibersek and others would be telling you about their achievements. They're not able to do that because it has been a period that many families will never forget, and many kids will see their families suffering through very difficult times. Therefore, they're throwing as much mud as they can, Paul. That's what they're doing. That's their strategy. And some of it sticks. That's the reality, because people are vulnerable, not really tuned into politics. They'll listen to the one-liner. I would just ask people to do their own research and to look past what the Prime Minister's saying or the ads that you see on television. So I think the biggest lie, to answer your question, is in relation to health and to what we achieved when we were in government. When I was Health Minister, the bulk billing rate was 84%. By the time we'd left government under Greg Hunt, it had climbed to 88%. And the Prime Minister at the moment won't tell you this, but the bulk billing rate in our country is at 77%, right? So he'll say we were a disaster in relation to health. As it turns out, bulk billing is down by 11% under this government. They'll say that we took money out of hospitals. Hospital funding increased every year that I was the Health Minister. And we only did that because we cleaned up Labor's mess and we managed the economy well. And at this election, I think people will see through that. And ultimately, the election's going to be about who do you trust to manage the economy? Who do you trust to address cost of living pressures and to bring inflation down? Who do you trust in this election to keep us safe and to keep our country secure in a very uncertain time? Who do you trust to provide young Australians with the hope of home ownership again and restoring that dream? And I believe that we can win that contest, and I think for the future of our country we must. So thank you very much, Paul, and thanks for being here.
Peter, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Peter Dutton, Leader of the Opposition, local member here in Dixon. Thank you again for tonight as he makes his way around. He says again to a few people. Again, I just want to say thank you to everyone as part of the Sky News team, part of the local pub team as well. And I look forward to this promise, of course, which is we get the chance to continue going right around the country. We're going to Western Australia, Victoria, plenty of places to get you to have the opportunity to ask questions of all sorts of people. But again, one more time for the alternative Prime Minister, Peter Dutton. That's it from Brisbane. Thank you very much. The late debate. Again, thanks, mate. Thank you.